Have you ever had an idea that was so clear it was like a 3D movie? Have you ever told a friend about the idea and they told you, wow, if you could only make that into a business, you would be rich? Sound familiar? Welcome to Knowledge to Currency. I'm your host, Senator Porter, with my co-host, Roosevelt Williams III, and we're here to help you take action. This is free information. We only ask one thing: build a strong foundation and mindset. We have insight to help you get started. Most of us just need a push.
If it is to be, it is up to us. When we are free, we all are free. All free. We all free.
Welcome to episode 12 of Knowledge to Currency. This is our first episode of the second season. We got Senator Porter and
Roosevelt Williams III.
And we're honored to have Chef Geoff as our guest today. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Let's kind of dive into it. We wanted to build up our show to get to the level to have somebody like you on there, and we want to give you your flowers. You're somebody that I've noticed from the outside, but still our friends on the inside. Yeah. So I want to kind of talk about your journey, the rise and the ups and downs of how you got into where you're at now. Because you have several businesses. You're a father. You own a actual restaurant. You own a record label. You own you have food service business. Mm-hmm. What I miss? I know you got others.
There's a clothing line. I think that's about it.
Clothing line. So four streams of revenue. As we were just talking about, San Diego is not cheap to live here, so you obviously got to make some money to do it. So
yeah,
tell us a little bit about your journey. We were talking about you were born in Miami. How'd you end up here?
Oh man, so it's kind of crazy, man. So my family came here from Jamaica. Back in the day, mom had me in Miami. And then went back to Jamaica for like a year when I was a baby. And the little kid came back to Miami. Left Miami when I was like 7 years old. Went to Brooklyn, New York. Then about 10 years old, then I went to Brooklyn, New York, and then I was in Brooklyn from third grade to the to 10th grade.
Okay.
Right. And then I left New York, went back to Florida, but a different part of Florida. Now I went to Daytona Beach, Florida. Went there for high school. For Daytona Beach is like 4 hours away from Miami to Daytona. Yeah. So I went and lived with my dad. So did my 2 years of high school there. Then after my 2 years of high school, I moved down to West Palm Beach, Florida.
Different too.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours south, right, of Daytona. And then work construction there. And I remember it's kind of crazy. I remember working construction, man. And it was cool at first, taking home $400. It was $440 after taxes, okay. And that was about the year 2001, right? Okay. So I used to take home that weekly, rent $600 a month. And I'm like, I'm living good,
right?
But then I remember it was a day, man. I'm just there working, sleep hours, Monday through Friday. You work, and then you spend the money in the weekend. Monday, you back working again,
Yeah.
But I just always didn't feel fulfilled. And this guy was, this construction worker was like, man, move out of the way. I've been doing this since I was your age. Mm-hmm. It hit me. Whoa, he's 60 years old. And he said, I've been doing this since I was your age. And I'm like, man, that's crazy.
Right.
It blew my mind. So like I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, Like, hey, what have you done in the last 12 months? Mm-hmm. How have you elevated in the last 12 months? Are you in the same place or are you further?
Right.
And they said they've been in the same place, same place. Some people run the rat race, clock in every day, go home, play their video games, whatever they do.
Right.
And they still, 12 months, you're still in the same spot.
Right.
Now times that by 20.
Yeah, and that's how people get stuck. Yeah,
right.
It's true.
That's why you gotta look at your life in 6 months increments and say, you should be elevating 6 months better. It could be education, it could be physical. You don't gotta be balling, but like, how are you more better than 6 months ago?
Yep.
Did you work in your health? Did you work in your marriage? Did you work on your career? Like, we always had to elevate.
Right.
So now I'm there. So like, they're doing construction and it'd be so I'm like, man, when he told me that, man, I got scared.
Okay.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. The hardest thing about life is, we didn't ask to be born, but you're born, then you have to grow up, then you have to find a career, and then you got to pay your own bills. Like, I ain't asked for this, but you have to do it. That's just the way it is.
It's life.
And the hardest thing about life is figuring out what you want to do with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? When there's only a few people that are blessed to figure out what they want to do with the life that they have. It'd be people 50 years old still trying to figure out what they want to do.
That's a fact.
So I joined the Navy that day.
That
same day?
Yeah, man. It was raining. It was raining, and I remember I took the ASVAB like a year ago just to see something, and I remember I had a 31 ASVAB score. That's the lowest you could have, and they said I could be a cook. So man, I joined that day, man, and I left West Palm Beach. And I'm like, okay, now I joined the Navy. I'm in the military, in boot camp, and I had a lot of life shocking things that happened to me while I was there.
Okay.
One of the biggest things was like when I got there, they pulled me aside and put me this reading class. Like, I got to go in this class already. I'm already in boot camp. Yeah, but there's like a special ed program over there for people who I say bad test takers.
Right.
So now I'm in class one day. I remember, man, it hurt me. I was with 80 people in front of me. There was 80 people in the boot camp class from all over, and they tell me to go ahead and come. The instructor wanted to see something. They said, "Come from Mr. Cole." He had me read a summary out. I read the summary, and then he asked me to recite something that was in that summary. He asked me a question, something similar, something small, but everybody jaw dropped. Kind of knew what he was talking about.
But you just read it out loud.
Yeah, thinking about it, coming up in high school and stuff, I was always, I'm a bad test taker.
Right.
I'm just this and that, giving myself excuses of why I can't get where I'm at.
Right.
And then when the teacher comes to you, you're on paragraph 5. All right, I got 5 people ahead of me. This is my paragraph. Let me get it out clear. Right. We all do that, right? Get me out clear. So when it comes, I can spit it out properly. Ain't nobody laughing at me. I'm not even trying to recite. I'm just trying to make sure, all right, it's passed, right?
Right.
So now, when everybody eyes jaw drop, you got people from around the country, you got rich folks, poor, all kind of people, and they looking at me like, whoa, like something's wrong with me.
Right.
So I'm like, man, that hurt. Somebody that hurt bad.
Right.
A master's degree later. So, I had to look at myself, and so I went to college. I came, when I'm like, man, I'm something wrong with me. Like, I'm off from everybody else.
Right.
Then I realized that
made you work hard.
I realized I couldn't comprehend.
Right.
I'm 19 years old, so I'm like a man, and getting married and all kind of stuff. I'm like, man, I can't even comprehend.
Right.
Going through life like that. So, took some college classes, man, and got my associates in food service management. Then I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a pilot. Got my degree in I got a bachelor's degree in professional aeronautics with a minor in aviation management, aviation safety, and then I pursued more. Got a supply chain management logistics master's degree.
Okay.
Right. So I'm like, okay, no excuses now. All right. I know how to navigate through life. I could, I could comprehend. You got to educate yourself. And then I found out, I wasn't a bad test taker. I just couldn't comprehend properly. I ain't study.
Right. And then now you understood that there were steps to be able to comprehend. Once you understood that, there was really nothing wrong with you at all.
Yeah, but in the poor schools coming from, man, they put you to the side, like, oh yeah, he's a bad test taker,
right?
You know, and
social promotion.
Yeah. So I was stuck in that, and then everybody in class like, yeah, we just don't take tests good, and I'm good with my hands. You know those things that I'm good with my hands.
Force you to be in a box that you're not necessarily, when you could do way more than that.
Oh yeah. Right. So we say we good with our hands all the time, and that's an excuse because we can't comprehend things, and we're not learning. Like, no, man, we better than good with our hands. You say you're good with your hands because you're trying to say you can't read and comprehend how to, fix that tool or how to do this, how to do whatever.
Right.
So that was a big part of my life, getting past that. But now in the military, cooking, hated my job as a cook. But that I said, man, I'm gonna make the best of it.
Right.
It's like, okay, so we in the ship. I was in San Diego. I was my first duty station in the ship in San Diego. We I found out, hey, all right, I'm stuck doing this job for 5 years in the military. Well, just be the best. Let me just be the best of what I can do.
Right.
And then they had my we cooking for 5,000 people. They started putting my menu on the ship list for everybody because I was just really into what I was doing. Right. They had this thing called Cole's Curry Chicken. That was kind of cool. Took a bunch of stuff in the deployment, so everybody has good morale.
Right.
And then learn how to cook for so many people. Then they moved me to the commanding officer's private chef. Then they started sending me to culinary schools. So I went to school, learned how to fold napkins, do 7-course meals. I'm all over the country doing culinary schools. I'm like, man, this is cool. And of course, it's always kind of hate when it comes with success because I'm over there, I'm working my hardest to do what I can do.
Right.
And then he's saying, and then I get moved up, and your ass, you kiss butt all the time, and you do this, you do that. I'm like, nah, actually, man, I've just been working hard.
Right.
But a lot of people that work hard, they're in the same bubble because you get pushed to the side, and then the people who's over there want to hang out, play video games, smoke all day. Right. They looking at you like, oh, you think you better than everybody? Right. Well, I kind of am, but I've been working while he was hanging out.
Right.
So now going from San Diego, we moved over to I got stationed in Jacksonville, Florida, because we decomped to San Diego. Did a whole deployment out there on the Bellawood. So now I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. Commanding officer cook again. Went out, did 2 deployments. Went to South America, and then went to the Mid Atlantic. And all these places, we usually order food, and sometimes I'm learning how to cook side by side with these people in these different countries. Cool. So that was great. And then when I was leaving Jacksonville, Florida, I got stationed in Hawaii. There was a program called Air Crewman. Okay. So it was she is Air Crewman. So pretty much it's like you're like a flight attendant / private chef / like rescue swimmer. Okay. Right. So it's like you have to go to air crew school, survival swimmer school to be a part of that program. So there's 3 of us in the military 13 of us in the military that do that. And I was the only black guy who did it. Oh wow. I had to go to school in Pensacola and tread water for 10 minutes with 20 pounds of gear on. Right? Swim a mile in the water under 80 minutes. Somebody did it 72 minutes. So, I had to do all the survival swimming. And that was a challenge for me to get to that program. But now I'm in a program, I'm in Hawaii. I'm flying, I'm on the private jet Gulfstreams. The Gulfstream jets. Nice. Right. So I'm over there like a flight attendant, but I'm cooking gourmet meals around the country, around the world. Right. For dignitaries, senators, everybody who fly under the Air Force One. Nice. And I'm like, man, that was a great job. So I'm over everywhere in the whole Pacific area, flying the world. Then we went to, they sent me to more schools while I was there. Became a certified chef de cuisine, going to culinary schools, and just became, up, no matter how good you are, you go up your skill level. Right. So then I got stationed in Italy after that, Hawaii. Got stationed in Sigonella. I'm in Italy, flying around Europe and Africa, flying the world leaders around. So everybody who represents the president on the other side of the world, they shake hands, they fly those jets. And I'm over there, man. I'm talking about, I'm in different countries, and I'm going to restaurants and cooking with those guys. And I'm in Italy. When I was in Italy, I was on my free time. I used to go out and, cook in restaurants. Right. And I'm like, well, hey, let me see what I can do. Right. So I'm out there learning skills and cooking around the world. That was great. But I remember I had a time where I was just going through a little depression issue in Europe. Being away from my kids, we're in the States. Just a whole lot of family stuff was going on. I had a hard time going. So what I was, I kind of bumped heads with the military while I was there, and I realized I didn't control my life. Right. And like, it took me over 10 years of being in it to realize I wasn't in control of my life. Like, time is everything. Like, you can't redo that time. You can't get that year back. People are like, man, you had 7 more years left in the military. Why you retire? 7 more years of my life I can't get back.
Right.
That's big.
So you 29 when you decided, like, I got to do something else?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now, I had like a few more years left on my clock. So I got stationed in San Diego. And then so I'm in San Diego. I'm like, man, that's why I started doing some private chef work. It's like, doing culinary videos and cooking channel videos, just being really on that grind. And then I started a farmers market. That was 8 years ago, July 13th, 2014. I was set up on a farmers market on the Seaport Village. I had a tent out there, and I was selling sliders.
So you was doing the church food.
Pretty much, man. It was a farmers market, but I was slinging burgers on the corner.
Right. From the jet to the slinging on the block.
But you got to. Sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes.
Yeah, you got to do it. So, man, I remember I took half my rent money, man, and did a whole setup.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, man, I'm gonna make all. I'm like, I put a risk on myself,
right?
And I ain't get that, but I got a lot of exposure. I understood a lot of things.
Right.
And from that one farmers market, I went from having 5 farmers market run a week.
Okay.
So
and elevated
and I started trying to pull myself out and put people in place to actually do the work. So now I'm in different parts of San Diego at a farmers market. So I got 5 farmers markets going on in a week time.
Okay.
So, a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there, it worked. And then we marketing catering at the same time. And and then, I'm trying to be a celebrity chef, want to cook for the celebrities, do these things. And then further down, I started doing more research, and I realized celebrity chefs are broke.
Okay.
People that most of the chefs that cook for celebrities ain't really got it.
Right.
And even and then most chefs don't make that much money.
Sure.
I'm like, the best you go do is $150,000 working at Bellagio in Vegas as a head chef.
Okay.
So I'm like, man, so my vision got blurry now because I'm thinking you working for Diddy and stuff, you getting, you making that money. Right. I was like, nah, you get exposure. He was like, hey man, I put you on my IG and you come over here and cook for free.
Yeah.
So, but how much exposure do you need? Like, I need more than just exposure. I need money.
Right.
So then, further on, I'm doing catering jobs. Like, okay, catering jobs. So I get $10,000 on a pop of catering, right? So now, the farmers market when I first started, I was getting $300 a day.
Right.
So for a whole day of work, it's $300 income, and that's not including product and stuff like that. You don't got enough time to pay nobody. That's why most family members just do that. But now I'm doing catering, and I'm like, okay, I got $10,000 for a wedding. Boom. I'm working a wedding, and I can't even answer the phone call for the next, next sale.
Yeah.
Because I'm working it. And when somebody getting a catering job, they calling, whoever pick up, this is what I just need a service.
Right.
Whoever got it, they go do it.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, cool. So now I'm like, all right. And then I go to other people who's been doing catering for a lot longer. I say, hey man, when do you stop chasing the sales?
Right.
This thing is rough. Every day I'm trying to sell. And it's just you don't stop.
Yeah, he can't stop.
The sale don't stop.
Right.
I said, it don't stop. This is nuts. That's like, you working so hard, and then you got to get the sale at the same time. This is nuts.
Right.
So now I'm going. So now I found out about corporate catering. I'm like, okay, lock in some of those. I'm like, okay, cool. For a low price, you get some people who got corporate who want weekly catering done to you, and I got a few corporate events. I'm like, okay, cool, I got corporate going.
Right.
So now, getting a couple $100 here and there for like corporate lunches.
Yeah,
right.
That's still
so I'm like, okay, cool. So now we set, but they can also like not want to call me the next day, so it's not really set.
Right.
So I like I said, I started from like $300 per day to like $1,000 a week. Now I'm on a scale making $20,000 a month.
Right.
From doing,
which is better.
Yeah, so I'm doing $20K a month at that time, so doing corporate catering and weddings and stuff like that. But then I found out about this other thing to secure a contract called government contracting.
Yeah, let's hear about that B to G. Business to government.
Yeah.
Man, so I went to a seminar with the Black Chamber of Commerce one time. I can remember I was listening to this podcast. So I listened to podcasts. I'm trying to figure out, one of the biggest things I was trying to figure out how to get money. Right? As an entrepreneur, man, you're always trying to figure out how to get money. You gotta get capital. It's almost annoying. So, and it was like, check out the local black chamber of commerce. They could have access to capital that you don't know about, blah, blah. I'm like, where? I'm like, you got local. So I'm like, what's that? So I Googled one and San Diego had one. So, hey, man, and so I called, and the president at the time answered the phone and said, well, come on down to this, we have a luncheon. So we went to the luncheon, and they told us about the government. They were speaking about government contract and about construction. I'm like, I don't know nothing about construction, but I'm like, okay, cool. Now I'm listening about the construction and government contracting. And they were like, man, we got $5 billion worth of work out here, and we have to give 25% of that $5 billion to minority business owners. And we don't have enough people to give it to. I said, stop playing. You got 25% of $5 billion that you have to give to minorities, and you don't have enough minorities to qualify for it. Let's do my research more. So, you know what, this government contract, I don't do construction, I don't know about construction, but let me try something. So I was like, what's the closest thing I could think of by being in the military, by my skill set that I don't know how to do?
Right.
Janitorial.
Right. So
I bid in my first janitorial contract, and I won it.
Okay.
Man. It was a building in Spring Valley, doing janitorial. They paid like $900 a month.
Okay.
Man, I was so hyped. I was ecstatic. I was like, contract.
Right.
2-year contract, like 2 or 3 times a week, vacuuming just high dust in the place. So I'm like, okay, cool. I got a government contract for the state.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, cool. And then I had put some more contracts in, and they came in. I'm gonna tell you a crazy story, man. In Sioux City, Iowa, I put a contract in Sioux City, Iowa, and I won that contract, food service, feeding 500 people. Okay. So it was about 500 people, and it was a $20,000 gig, for 2 days of work.
So wow. So then in 2 days, you was doing a whole month to make 20. You just did it in 2 days.
2 days.
So that's the light switch came on.
Man, but here's a trick now. I ain't had no money. Okay. They told me on Wednesday that I got a contract that starts on Saturday. I ain't had no money. And I didn't know I could turn down a contract either.
Oh, no.
Right? I probably had like $1,000, $1,500, enough for a plane ticket to get down there.
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, how am I going to figure this out? So I got the plane ticket, got to rent a car, and I got a staffing agency to work for me that to give me net 30.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. So now I'm at net 30 with a staffing agency. So I'm like, okay, now I need to get food when I get there. So I flew out there. So what I did was, oh man, I stretched it. So anyway, I brought some bank starter checks.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
I brought bank starter checks. I knew I could gather some money over the weekend.
Sure.
But I needed money. I needed this stuff today.
Right.
Right? So I could try to get some money to get it going. So I get there. I got some vendors. I was able to order food with the starter checks.
Okay.
So now I got the whole food. I'm talking about all the food going. And when I went to check in my hotel, it was below 0 degrees out there, like negative 10 degrees.
So and
the thing about it is, I had to get a hotel all the way in Nebraska, Tennessee, because when I got there, they told me you couldn't use their kitchen. So I got a Marriott with a kitchen in there. So I'm like, man, how am I gonna figure this out? So now it's 45 minutes away. So now I'm in Nebraska, and my car wasn't working. Couldn't check in the hotel. I'm like, everything went straight. But I'm like, damn, I can't get my car to go work to check this damn hotel. So, I was like, man, if I took it out of the car a little bit, it's cold out here.
Right.
But I'm like, it was getting cold. The car was cold. It couldn't walk. It was getting too cold.
Yeah.
So my buddy was able to send some money to my USA. And at that time, I was still real prideful. Like, there's probably 100 people I could ask for help.
But you didn't want to.
But your pride is too much to even ask. Right. And there's so many people that would probably be like, hey, so this is one of the biggest things in business I learned, but you can't be prideful because you can't get through the storm by yourself.
Sure.
You got to figure out, you got to have people in your pocket you can actually, speak and talk to about it. So now I get in there and, now I'm getting my stuff going. And you guys remember the Tinder app?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm on Tinder and had found somebody right before I got there, and this girl came over, right. This is crazy. This girl came over, and she said, "What you doing?" We talking, and she started helping me prep and cook.
Oh, you blessed.
she started to help me prep and cook, and we was up to like 4 a.m. doing it, and then I didn't have enough oven space, right? Because I had warmers and stuff like that. I was doing it, getting stuff prepped, and I needed to do some brownies, and you know, she's like, "Yo, I'll take these to my house and do the brownies." Like, I'm just praying she come back though.
Yeah. Ooh,
So, look,
yeah.
I just pray.
Shout out to Tinder.
Yeah. I'm talking about that was a whole extra hands right there.
Yeah, that was
So,
free
right.
for
you know,
free.
Extra hands.
So now, now she's walking out, leaving with the brownies, and she said, "Man, I really thought I was coming to get some booty." I'm over here making brownies.
Yeah.
These are just real stories, man.
Right,
Like,
right,
you know,
right.
but I'm like, man, really, you know, I'm over here trying to get my, get my grind on.
It's that serious.
You know, but a lot of people, you know, it's crazy. A lot of people get distracted from
their goals.
from dating and sexual. You know, those can be habits and addictions. You know, but I had one goal, man. It's like you know, self control. It wasn't about getting a booty, man. It's about securing this bag for the future.
Right.
20,000 in 2 days.
Yeah.
Right. Sustainability.
Yeah. So I did it, and then the next day I showed up. All my staff was there to help serve food,
Blessings.
and we went through the weekend, man, and got it done. That was rough. And then then I was able to gather some money. But by the time they cashed those checks, the money was in the bank for food.
Facts.
I'm like,
Blessings.
Facts.
because I'm still hustling, trying to figure it out.
Right.
But you know that started. Then I found out later on I could have not signed for the contract, and I could have denied the contract. I'm like, you serious?
Right. But you learned. So
I learned. I went through it, and then now I know if a contract's not for me, I won't take it.
Okay.
Right.
Blessings. Hey, Chef, because I know we got 5 more minutes to go for the show. I want to make sure that we cover some ground bases with you, because I know you got a bandwidth of knowledge, skills, know-how. Some more insight on that business to government. You know, like any tips, any instructional content you can give for the early entrepreneurs that's tuned in.
Man, you know, a lot of people try to do government contracts, man. One of the biggest things with the government contracts, all a contract is doing the job that you know how to do.
Right.
You know, I want to do government contract. Okay, what is it that you do? If you have a small business already, I would say take your small business and try to get work from government contract. Because, you know, I have government contracts around the country. I'm in Alaska, Atlanta, Indianapolis, South Dakota, Alaska. I got one in Old Town, right? Mm-hmm. I do food service already. So the government hires me to do a job, which is food service. You know, so if you have a job, if you're an IT person, whatever you do, you know, that's what you get with the government. And they hire you and, you know, get it's a secure sale for 5 years.
Okay.
So, you know, you get these 5-year contracts, and that's great. But just look up your next code and get into an area where you're good at.
So then once you get the 5-year contract, as long as you deliver on it, they'll give you.
As long as you deliver, man. If you make T-shirts, you know, you do whatever it is you do, you know, just find the next code and do it. You can't just say, I just want to do government contracts. Well, what's your skill? Do you know how to clean, janitorial? Do you know how to paint? Like, you know, you have a company what the government wants. So
then you leverage from doing that. Let's talk about chefs. Let's talk about the restaurant. That's one of the things I like to bring about the show, like how that idea come about, and kind of tell us about the idea.
Man, you know, the idea was crazy, man, with chefs. It was a fluke. I just remember, like, when I got the location, I didn't want to be handcuffed to the restaurant like I was in my last restaurant. So, you know, I had a restaurant in the past where I was, like, tied down to it. So I'm like, okay, well, how about we sub the kitchen out? Like, you know how many chefs out there, like, when I was trying to be a celeb chef, I was coming over here asking people, can I cook in their restaurant? I just want people to enjoy my food over a drink in a nice area.
Right.
So I'm like, yo, you know what? How about we just sub it out? Have these local chefs, the people that you see on Food Network, they ain't doing nothing. Let's book them like artists, and let's give them the platform. And now they're bringing their customers as well. So it's actually working, man. And now we got the chefs, the celebrity chefs on the weekends. We got these local chefs as well, like the farm market type of guys. So I'm giving a whole community opportunity to sell food and make money, and sit down in a restaurant where they never have opportunity to, because no other restaurants let you cook at their establishment.
That's a fact.
And be able to have drinks and, you know, the whole full service. With celebrities coming there.
So. Yeah, you had Michael Blackston the other day.
It had Jahan Jones, Michael Blackson, and then Cedric Entertainer came.
Okay.
And then Lil Flip came and performed. Like, man, what the hell? Like,
Lil Flip.
Yeah, man, it's a word in the neighborhood when they come in, they got to check in with Chef.
You already know.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's like every celebrity in the city, man. My DMs, my text messages go like, "Hey, Chef, we in the city? What's going on?" And I just try to show people a good time, man.
Right.
I try to show people, San Diego's a nice place to hang out. Sometimes I take them on the yacht. We get some drinks. We, whatever they want to do when we hang out. A lot of other people do things different, man. When like a promoter would just like see an artist say, "Here's your money, bye."
Right.
But I'm saying, hey man, come hang out. What you want to do? And now they come in for free. And they tell their buddies like, hey, we got a spot chef. They take care of us.
Yeah, what I love you shared with us when we was at the restaurant. You said that instead of you moving to somewhere else, that you wanted to be this having a spot. You were like, no, I'm gonna make having a spot here where I'm at. I'm not moving nowhere. Like,
oh yeah.
My environment that I like I really.
Yeah, I got a creative environment I like doing.
Right.
Like I like hanging out, like having drinks and doing things. So you got a creative environment that you like, man. And but people don't know, man, money come later. You got to hustle,
right?
And the money gonna come with the passion.
Right.
If you think about money first, it ain't gonna happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. We got a couple seconds left. Any last encouraging words you can give us?
We can go longer. Let him talk about his record label as well.
Please.
It's a big chef.
Yeah, that's right. Please.
Oh man. So it's like weird how everything in combined. So I actually built a recording studio in the bottom of Chef's.
Okay.
So my record label, I got a couple artists on there, and my son really focused on him a lot. So now when these artists come, man, they come and they giving us tracks as well.
Okay.
We getting the features with the artists, and we go ahead and we got a whole lot of stuff we about to do, we about to push. So really putting things in the map, and and understanding. So even I'm understanding why a lot of San Diego artists is not where they need to be at.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy. It's this one thing. It's called ego.
Yeah.
A lot of time, you think you're bigger than what you are.
Okay.
Right, but it's like, all right, hood famous. We famous locally, but let's go 100-mile radius, 200-mile radius, and see who knows you when you walk into a store.
Right.
We get spoiled like that. Even myself, and I walk around like, okay, and then I might go to Miami and nobody, I'm like, damn. But I gotta understand, like, I ain't popping like that, right? So you gotta just
not yet.
But you gotta humble yourself. But I think my goal is and I don't do that for money, man. I'm just like, how can I create that no limit, that cash money of the area? Because back in the day, man, nobody's going to Miami for music till Luke made it pop.
Right.
Nobody's going to New Orleans for music till Luke made it pop, or to Master P and made it pop.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, cool. But I like challenges. How can I make it San Diego place where it's going to pop?
Right.
Now I got all these artists coming and they giving us love, and now I'm doing so much networking and going places and meeting so many people with the Drakes and Ovios and with the with Neo. Like anybody you can think of, like all I'm doing connected. How one of the biggest things is I want to use their machine. The machine of telling everybody how to put the music out there. Because there's so many talented people, but you gotta be able to use the machine to get it out there.
So how'd you have that vision to actually want to have a record label? Like, almost like a good version of Suge Knight.
Yeah. I know people say that. So it's crazy because the promoters be like, I'm Suge Knight, and take their artists when they in town. They pay all this money and they come. But I think ever since back in the day, man, Diddy was one of those inspiration.
Okay.
Right? I'm like, man, bad boy, CEO. I just remember he used to say that.
Right.
Like, how do you become a CEO? Mm-hmm. Is there a book? Is there a school? Like, what school do you take to become a CEO of a record label?
Right.
To find out there's none. But then find out when you're in the finance, as I get older, I find out I'm in a financial situation that you can make anything happen.
True.
A lot of times people I wasn't able to reach, they're my friends on my phone now, because I'm able to put myself in certain rooms and I don't need nothing from them either.
Right.
When I'm coming to these rooms, when I ask for autograph, I don't need nothing from you.
Right.
I just want to say, and then a lot of them come to me and say, hey, can you help me out?
Right.
And then you start realizing that the music game is not, you pull the curtains down, it's not as flashy as it seems from the outside.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of life, and like you said, entrepreneurship, business. Like as you look online, somebody got this rented Lamborghini and they saying it's popping and it's this and that, and they don't have no money.
It blows my mind. That's why, I had that little music video I had. I made one with my son rapping, and I did everything in my house with my vehicles. I'm like, why do you have to take a picture in front of somebody else's car, rent a car, and just say, hey, this is how I'm getting it. I'm riding around, I'm getting it. Like, how are you getting it?
Right.
We want to do how, like, okay, how you getting it, but how are you getting it?
Right.
You got no record sales yet, like, you know?
Yeah.
Right. I do like the mindset you had, eliminating the ego and having the people at the forefront, like the we-go mentality.
Yeah.
Even from the creating an establishment where you're inviting others to come show their culinary skills. Yeah. You're bringing the music group with you. You're bringing others with you and just creating that momentum. And I believe that's going to be ultimately the sustainability, because the power's in the people.
Yeah. It's a big fact, man. We can't do none of this by ourselves, man. Like, there's plenty of times it goes to go crumble and fold, man. And, the people, people are there to bring me up. And, they just want me to be, I'm just that person that was chosen to be the leader. Right. And, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to lead. And, everybody bring up. And so there's so many little pieces that go into to get where I'm at now that I can't even tell you. People would do certain things that I didn't even know they did it just to help me out, and it's appreciated. It's appreciated. I'm pretty sure you guys have workers too that, made a phone call and made an adjustment that you didn't even know they did just to make something happen for you. Right. So, we all got to appreciate that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm always going to appreciate it and know that I put my pants on the same way they do every day. Right. And I know I ain't make it yet. As long as you know you ain't make it yet, you keep hungry, keep going. Yeah. It's good, but it's bad because, like, I'm in a tornado storm. I can't see the storm in my building. Everybody sees like, yo, look at Chef over there. Right. I can't see it because I'm just working. I'm just like, yo, focus. Man, I ain't focused. I ain't making it. And everybody's like, but now I got to realize, okay, I can't move how I move,
Just walk around normal.
Yeah, man, because, for all the listeners and viewers, man, the Boss's Ball, man, that was it. We had the, I was blessed to be there. We was both blessed to be there at the University Club, bringing DJ all Envy. Those.
Shout out to DJ Envy.
It was a blessing, man, to have the room filled, with boss mentality. You definitely, the master and commander at the helm, celebrating your birthday, the big view of the city, beautiful people. Money was in the room, spirit, business, networking was in the room, and for you to be able to, bring that to the town, as me being the third generation San Diego, brother, you definitely bringing that winning spirit to San Diego.
Thank you, man. That's all I'm trying to do, and I claim San Diego's a home. Like I've been in San Diego 8.5, almost 9 years. It's the longest city in my 39 years I've lived in one area. And I got so much love. It's so much love. The people so much love here, man. It's grateful to be a part of this.
Yeah, and I love that no matter your success, you always approachable, never act funny. Yeah. Like always say what's up to me. Man, that's all you can ask for.
Oh yeah, we gotta know, man. What we was, I know you for so long, man. When I was growing, you seen the growth we was growing.
Exactly.
And the hard part about it is like, somebody like yourself. Y'all see me grow. You see me like, okay, I seen you years ago, and you can see the progress. Right. But there's some people who never see me progress, and then they just see me now and be like, oh, he was a scammer. He sells drugs. You know how people think I'm a dope boy or I'm a scammer? I'm like, man. It's kind of deep, man, when you look at it.
It's crazy.
Because we can't see ourselves as successful in a black community. We can't see ourselves without thinking something negative about it.
That's messed up.
Right? We be like, oh, you making all that money? I know he pimping or he's selling drugs or he doing. We can't just be like he went to college and worked hard. Right. The perception's already there. Or he plays sports. He worked hard to get it? Nah, that's not possible. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I'm like, that's crazy. It's mind blowing. Just like I was explaining to somebody, man. I put a post up. I hate when if somebody might say, "Yo, your place is ghetto," right? Like what makes it ghetto? Like there's holes in the walls. Like what makes it hood? What makes it ghetto? Right. Oh, the people, blah blah. Well, all I see is a lot of black folks. Right. And then guess what happened when you go across the street? Right across the street, it's a mixed crowd, right? There's fights all the time. It's alcohol creates fights. Yeah, it's what it is. Oh man, those folks, they act a fool over there. They wild over there. But across the street, if these black folks have a fight, man, that thing is ghetto and ratchet, man. Just plays a ghetto. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, even our own black folks call it down ourselves. Really? And then, but you go to another establishment that's a mixed or white establishment, those folks are fighting too. They go in that because alcohol. That's what alcohol does. You get hot, sweaty, and there's going to be 2 or 3 fights.
I never had no problems at your spot.
No, not my spot, but I'm just saying. But I realized there has been fights sometimes, but like alcohol is a thing, crazy drug. Like I drink, but it's like, man, so I've seen him, man. I'm like, man, it's a crazy drug what they get on people. And,
right.
But then we stereotype ourselves and we call ourselves ghetto because like, oh, look at these black folks fighting. But you see some folks across the street, it's not ghetto when they fighting.
Right. Yeah. Nah, I mean, I guess with success, you see you see the success. You like this is what I'm working for. But then there's the dark side of success too, where you have that success and now people almost like they mad at you for being successful.
Oh yeah, I get that a lot, man, and I get that. People say, "Oh, you don't do this no more. You don't do that." I gotta watch how I move, and even some people understand, man. Like every day, people approach me about opportunities and this and like sometimes I'm just in an environment where I'm eating and having a drink, man, and they want to tap my ear. I'm like, man, you're screaming at me in the area where it's loud music. I'm like, I can't really hear you right now, man, but I understand, man. Sometimes in the community we want answers, and you grew up not knowing what to do and not knowing how to make money, and you see somebody making legal money, man. It's like, man, how do I get like that?
Man.
How do I, what I mean? And I feel for it, man. Like, how do you do it?
Right.
And then you get this, then we got these things where, we got these people that's, people call them thugs. They're angry. There's a lot of angry people that because they don't have any money.
Yeah,
they're financially frustrated.
Right.
They girls looking up, but they can't pay the rent. They don't know how to get it.
Right.
But then it becomes anger, and you use a muscle, and you be like, they're a tough guy. Right. You're not really tough, man. You need we need a hug, and you be like, you need guidance to figure out how to get to where you're going.
Right. And just to chime in, I'm experiencing that right now because being a corporate scientist, sometimes you have to, it's hood scientists out there.
Yeah.
So the language, the terminology, the vocabulary is different. Yeah. And they're unable to understand, articulate, and express themselves. So it turns to hate, envy, and jealousy.
It's crazy.
But it really is a beg, a SOS for help, a calling for help. It
is, man, because you got to put you got to have your chest and put your tough guy on because, your pride won't let you say, he's like, man, I'm gonna beat this guy up. I'm gonna do something to this person because, I'm on an air mattress sleeping on the floor at home. I don't know how to figure it out. I just don't know. And I'm too prideful to ask for help. I'm too prideful to say, hey man, how do you do this? Like, what can I do to get myself
back to
together?
The ego you were saying, back to the ego. Right.
But it's crazy because like, man, look, I might have a little man. Look, man, my humble times when I'm hurting, I'm like, man, look, I'm about 40K short in payroll, man. I need some help. Like, I might have to go to somebody and be like, hey, this things ain't planned how I was supposed to plan, man. And I gotta, put my head down and be like, hey man, I need some help. I got a new project coming up, I need some help. But then vice versa, things grow and I'm there. Somebody might need my help.
Right.
And I'll be there. But, you gotta know who to help and, where they plan out at. But you can't have the ego, can't have your pride, man. If not, man, you'll stay right, you'll stay in a hole.
Man, you can't have your chest and your hand out. One of them got to be in.
Chest and your hand. A lot of people do that, man. Boy. Hey.
One of them got to be in.
One of them got to be in. Your chest and your hand out.
Which is it?
I've seen that a lot, man. Like, you may have your chest. He screamed on you, like, but you need help. I'm like, whoa, just
right.
Yeah, but as we are, man, as a higher we grow in business entrepreneur, you get level headed. And you have to understand people because you're dealing with people every day. And, just like...
what I learned is as I'm my journey of growth, people start to say you act differently or you're changing, but I have to not be offended when they say that and just still, like, guide them with me. Like, hey, I'm going through this change. I'm going through this growth and still hit them with the wisdom still that I'm learning. Because some people, I'll tell them stuff and they just not ready for what I'm telling them. And they don't hear. And then later... it'd click, and then they'd be like, hey, I remember you was telling me that. I finally did it. So I used to get upset. Like, I tell you to play, and then they don't never do the play.
Oh, same here. That's why I put on my I put in my bio, look at my bio, book time with me now.
Okay.
Because, and it's not about the money, man.
Yeah.
It's about you got to respect me more because you're paying for my time.
Yes, sir.
I'm giving you $1 million worth of game.
Right.
Like, if you tune in right here, I just gave people $1 million. How I've made millions of dollars. Last year, my company grossed almost $6 million.
Bless.
Right. starting at $300 a day. You know, $300 a week, really. Right?
Sliders at the Seaport Village,
Village,
at the farmers market,
and now doing government contracts around the country and doing fucking and have a restaurant. You know, so that's. You know, I'm giving you $1 million worth of game, and you telling me you can't pay $100 for it. I don't know what to tell you. But you want to sit down, you want to take me out to lunch, you want to talk to me, pick my brain, but you don't do nothing with it.
Ain't taking no notes.
You ain't. You feel me? Like, man, my mind is so beyond so grateful, and I could be creating more ideas and more money instead of talking to you right now.
It's facts.
You know, spend time with my kids, you know, single dad. I got my kids, I got to take care of family. And one of the biggest things when you're an entrepreneur is time, man. We don't have time. We got to take time away to do this. So I don't have time, but I'm going to give you my time so you can mess around and not do nothing with it. It's like a little disrespectful.
What's the next event that we should be looking for that you may have coming up that we like to tell the world?
Man, you know, just fingers crossed, man. But opening escrow for Chefs LA.
Okay.
Right. So that's the next thing, right? You know, so Admiral's experience is nationwide.
Yep.
Right. The next thing is to take Chefs LA like a McDonald's almost. Chefs, you know, the concept chefs, because the concept was never done before. So, you know, go to major cities around the country and take it on. So we gonna see how that go, man. But, you know, win, fall, or fail, man. I always know at least I tried.
Right.
And the worst thing in my butt that can happen is I gotta go find a job.
But if you had to, you would do it.
Oh yeah,
and then maybe start something else. Like that's what I tell everybody. Your job's your first investor.
Yeah.
You can't go to family. You can't go to someone and get a job.
Beautiful.
And then work on your dream in the nighttime.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know I was in the Navy getting money. While I was selling sliders, I was still active duty.
Right.
You know, then you gotta hit it one base at a time. And then another thing I would tell people is, man, don't even look for money no more. It's the hardest thing of doing is getting investors, getting somebody to give you loans for your dreams.
Right.
Like, why should I? So go out there, use your own money, hit one base at a time. You show the worth, and then everybody's knocking on your door saying, "Hey, can I give you some money?
Yes,
I
sir.
got money."
That's a fact.
As soon as you start making it, you gotta take that share and make it profitable. Like, you know, you don't get no stocks early or getting it late, and then now you done made it a little profitable, and you know shuck some trees. You gonna be having so many people knocking on the door and say, "How can I get in?"
Okay.
Yeah, but you got it ain't bad to go one base at a time.
Right.
Half a base, it's gonna take a little while, but usually, you know, you might have to work a night job while you work your business in the daytime, you know, because fund yourself. It's gonna be tough, but
it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's worth it. So
Yes, sir.
that 8 years went by fast.
Man, I don't know. I have a heart attack and then like that. Boy, you know how many times I went to I've been fetal position, can't get out of because I got to face some things that I don't know how to face. A lot of times it'll be a money problem, right? Over the years, you know, I remember I think it was like 2016, man. I was I had my restaurant in San Carlos. You been in that one before, right? You've been in that one too, right?
I didn't get to go to that one.
So,
Actually, here in high school. Yep.
Yeah. So I didn't have money to pay my employees.
Okay.
I didn't have. I don't know where, and there was no money coming.
Right.
I didn't want to go look at my employees in the face, man. I wanted to just stay in the house and stay in a fetal position, trying to figure out what the hell I'm gonna do.
Right.
But I remember I was watching DJ Khaled, his interview on Hot 97. He was just like, "When you see me bow down to greatness." I'm like, what the hell? Why are you being so cocky? When you see me bow down to greatness, you know what greatness is about. And then he started explaining. He said, "Do you know how many times I could have folded? I could have just ran away and pop up my all online. I kept pushing. I kept looking fear in the face, and I kept going. And so I could have folded, but I'm here and I made it. I made it through the storm, and I'm still looking in the face of the tiger, like just here. I made it."
So what'd you say to the employee?
No, I ain't saying employee. No. This is what I did was I got up. Okay. I got out of the couch. I got out of the bed. I'm like, man, I ain't gonna fold.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna go to the jungle and I'm gonna look at the tigers. And, you know what I mean? I'm here.
Right.
You know, okay. Right. And I was able to scrape some money up and pay these workers. And it was just and this is how business is crazy. How how sometimes you gotta separate your emotions.
Right.
That same week, I had a hard time paying people. I thought my executive assistant at the time, I thought she quit because she ain't do no show, no call from Tuesday through Thursday. All right, so I reached out to my mom, and Friday, and mom told me, "Can I go to her house and check up on her?" I go to her house, right? And I found her body.
So she died.
She died.
Wow.
Right? Found her body. She overdosed on drugs in her room. Right, 24-year-old. Right, and this is somebody I talk to every day, 20 times a day, because she's my assistant.
Right.
But at the same time, when I found her body and called the cops, the deposit for the paychecks for people to cash their checks just came in. So people are saying, "Well, can I cash my check?" I can't even have time no more. I got to go figure out how to go pay my people now as I'm, handing over her body to the police.
Mom and police.
You know what I'm saying? And then I gotta pay me out. I didn't even have time to actually even mourn. I'm just like, man, this is crazy.
Right.
So, but that's those things that make you tough, and you won't forget it. And we're like, man, I kind of made it through the storm, made it through a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely appreciate you being on the show. It's an honor to have you here.
Absolutely, man. Hey, man, big boss, man, keep going. Keep grabbing a tiger by the tail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Keep handling grown man business. Keep being that inspiration. I like to say one lighthouse can guide many ships. And what you're doing at Chefs, man, is really a lighthouse to early emerging entrepreneurs. Because this is not the first time that you gave away some jewels and some gems and shared a platform. So, we're going to keep building, and we want to thank you very much for your excellence.
Absolutely. We went over a half hour because Chef's here. So
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But yeah, thank you so much for being on the show. And definitely when I do go out, I like to go to your spot for sure. And
I was there on Saturday, man. Had the wings and the garlic fries.
Did you see Michael Blackson?
I was with the wife, so I'll be In-N-Out Burger.
All right, cool.
But I go for yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah, but definitely thanks for being on the show. We love to have you back in your next venture, and that's a wrap of the episode.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.